Hello, so for my case one, I had Yelena, who's a 36-year-old Hispanic female who speaks very limited English. She lives at home with her 3 children who are ages 8, 14, and 17. She's being seen for OT post-Kahl's fracture, which is also known as FOOSH or falling on an outstretched hand. At work as a nurse's aide, her hand was compressed in a doorway when she reached out to stop it from hitting a resident. So it was treated surgically with an open reduction internal fixation. She had a cast on for 6 weeks, and now she's being seen about 2 days after her cast was removed for her initial OT eval. So everything that I picked out is mostly related to re-strengthening her hand muscles, fine motor skills, and things like that, because her main complaint is pain and limited range of motion in her hand. So the first activity that I have is a game called Rummikub. It's one of my family's personal favorites. So it's played by picking up tiles from the center that are face down, and then you put it in your board and you try and make a sequence of 3. So this involves her fine motor skills to pick up the tiles and then to lay them down. So for example, I could lay this down because it's a 1, 2, 3 that's a corresponding color. So this would be a great game that she could play with her kids, and it's really working on her fine motor pinch strength. So the next game that I have is also kind of similar. This is called Farkle. So it's a dice rolling game. It's a little bit similar to Yahtzee. So you shake the cup, you pour out the die, and then you have to get a certain number of points. So she has to grip the cup and be able to shake the cup back and forth. So doing a little bit of wrist flexion and extension to shake the cup, and then to turn the cup, and then obviously her fine motor pincher strength to pick up the die and put them back in the cup. And this is another game that would be great that she could play with all of her kids. The next activity that I picked was cards. So I have just a regular deck of cards and phase 10, so whatever her family's interested in playing. This would be great because she has to actually manipulate the cards. So you have to be able to hold them in like a fan pattern, and then be able to use your pincher strength to pass them out. So phase 10 is a really great game that her kids would enjoy, and then whatever card games she knows how to play, she could use. Another thing that I saw at one of my fieldworks was that they did just a card matching game, so you could do like match the like all the aces together, all the different colors. You could do it by anything. So that would be a really great activity if she doesn't play cards. Her favorite activities are just watching TV and cooking. So for the next activity, if she had a dog, walking her dog with a leash would be really great because she has to be able to grip the leash. This would get her out moving with her family. It would be a really great activity to do, especially in quarantine, because you're getting out, being active. And then playing fetch with your dog, because you have to be able to grip the ball and throw it and then pick it back up. The tennis ball or a stress ball, if Yelena has it, would be great while she's sitting and watching TV, just to squeeze it, because that would be great on building her grip strength and endurance back, which would be something that she'd want to do. And if she doesn't have a stress ball, a tennis ball is a little bit more difficult, but definitely manageable to just squeeze it as tolerated. So the next activity that I have involves her favorite activity of cooking. So she hasn't been cooking very many meals. Her children and her sister have been helping her mostly. So a simple cooking activity that I thought that she could engage in is baking brownies, because that's pretty easy. So she'd have to pour in the brownie mix, pour in the water, the oil, crack in the eggs, and then obviously mixing the bowl. So this would be a great activity to work on gripping, ulnar and radial deviation, wrist flexion and extension, And then obviously it's just a great activity that she could engage in with her kids. Do similar activities with foods that are easier to manage, so like stirring rice or like instant mashed potatoes, stirring soup that's already made. Something like that would be a really great activity for her to do with her kids. I have a puzzle here, which would be really great. This one, the pieces are shown right here, so they're really little. So this would be a great activity that she could do independently or with her family. She could do it while she's watching her TV shows, or basically just any time of day. And similar to the Rummikub game or the dice game, you have to pick up the pieces and put them in appropriate spots. Definitely is working on your bimanual coordination, because you have to use both arms, so she would have to use her affected arm and non-affected arm. So I think a puzzle would be a great option for her, and then her family could obviously help out as well. One of the activities that I had in my treatment plan was doing a self-esteem activity, because her self-esteem has been really low since she hasn't been able to work. Her sister thinks that she might be depressed, and so I have these 2 sheets that were actually used by my classmates in previous classes. So this is like a what I like about myself worksheet, and then this one's similar. It has a picture of me, but you could obviously replace it with her. And then it talks about my story, my emotions, I usually feel, and then my bucket list. So this is actually the one that I included in my 5-day treatment plan. So the bucket list, she could talk about things that she wants to do post-quarantine, or things that they could do to keep themselves occupied during quarantine. And then I chose that because it would be a really great fine motor activity to get her back writing with a pen or pencil, because that's something that she had complained about. But obviously, if there are no means to get her this, then another activity that I had picked out is a coloring book. So I felt like a coloring book could be a really great activity, because you can basically use any different means. You could use crayons, you could use markers, and then there's a whole variety of like thick, small, thin, based on what she can tolerate. So I figured that would be something that she would like to do. Her children would probably enjoy coloring with her. So I thought that that would be a really great activity that all of her family would enjoy doing. So that's basically everything that I've picked out for Yelena. I hope that you found something that you could use in your cases too. And if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.